about this?
Sure. About the mineral?
Mineral and your cows here.
Oh, sure.
So this is Monty Bottoms. We came out here to see his farm. He's got a little bit of everything, but it's pretty fascinating. So you call this a free choice mineral?
Yeah, it's a free choice mineral box, and there's actually 14 different minerals in this sled that they can choose from. And they actually know, you can see the different levels depending on where they're at in the field and what time of year it is and what field they're in. They'll eat different minerals because they actually know from signaling what they need to eat. So if I actually knew from signaling what I needed to eat, I wouldn't look like this. See, I wouldn't be overeating. But that's kind of interesting. At first, when we started implementing this program about a year ago, the very first few times that we used it, we went through, gosh, crazy amount of money per month, probably $3,000 a month for the first 2 months. Then it went down to about $300 a month.
Wow.
So the cattle were behind on their mineral need, but now they eat it in balance and as they move. So this is our British White Angus herd and mama cows and calves. What we're doing right here is this is in our 1,000,000-pound March area. So we're just doing a cleanup here before we go back out to the fields on cover crops. But our whole intention on this 20 acres here is the stocking density is going to be 1 million pounds of beef per acre, in move them 10 times a day in order to restore native prairie seed bank here. And we also want to use the cattle to take out these volunteer trees and such that have come on the CRP land over time. Now that it's out of CRP, we want to use the cattle to remove the trees instead of mechanical to move the trees. So 2 goals here: get rid of the trees to the cows and bring the native seed bank back that was here 200 years before a plow came and turned under the prairie. So anyway, we got that's our portable shade down there. You know, we don't need it today, but in times we get pretty hot here, and if we're out in the field that don't offer tree shade because we're moving them to 2 acres a day, then we can deploy that. But we're just restoring this ground right here that we've had for about a year to work with. And this is summer camp for our cows, and it's home base for our meat chickens and our laying hens, and also Project Oink, our hogs that we have.
So look at the conditioning of that cow right there. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's 0 grain on this, and it's just daily moves, and they're fat as can be.
0 grain, just moving.
So
can you explain what happens when you crowd them and you do I mean, they become completely non-selective, right?
Right. Right now they're on a 2 acre area, so they still behave herd instincts, so they'll be close to each other. So even though we're here, they were over there when we got here. They'll stick together and maybe spread out over a ½ acre of the 2 acres at a time. But when we do that 1,000,000-pound march, we shrink it down to 1/10 of an acre, and we move it 10 times a day to mimic what a bison herd would have been, of hundreds of thousands of animals then.
So on these, you know, you're on these trees, are they actually eating them, or is the hoof damaged so much that it kills them, or both?
They do eat them. Now, sheep like to eat trees more than cattle. So cattle want about 90% grass diet. Oh, by the way, everybody, if you know your cow pies, okay, we'll do piology here.
Yeah.
But this is not great grass by any means, right? There's goldenrod weeds all over the place, trees. Now I want you to look at this cow pie. So these are for cows, and this cow is, they're calved mainly in the end of May and June. So we're in, what, 3-4 months in lactation here. They got plenty of body condition, and that cow pie is just perfect for what we want. We don't want them to gain a whole bunch of weight and be more liquid, but it's not stacked up by any means. So they know what to eat if you move them every day and give them the choice to eat it. But on these trees, they'll come and they'll bulldoze them over, Jason. They'll strip them down. They'll scratch on them. You know, over there is where they were yesterday, and you can see how they've ate most everything along the base of the trees. But over time, they select for grasses because this is naturally a prairie, not naturally wooded.
Yep.
When we found
you just got to manage it, right?
We found a windmill from about 100 years ago. It was maybe 30 foot tall inside of a grove of trees that's 60 foot tall. So either that farmer was really crazy and drunk when he hand dug that well 100 years ago, or there was no trees there. So,
wow.
Because it was prairie. And, we don't know. You decide.
So it's been, how big's this farm? This was CRP ground forever, but
Yeah, we got about 140 acres of grazing here for summer camp.
he's got pigs in the woods. You've got cattle. You've got meat chickens. You've got egg layers.
Yep.
And
then these
all on
cattle
one
will
farm.
go next week. Are going out to some cover crop ground and some CRP buffer strips that we're going to graze for weed control.
So
rather than mowing,
Monty's idea is exactly what I'm envisioning. Multiple venues where we move them throughout the calendar year, and he talks about he's got higher valued ground that can grow cash crops. We move them here in the summer, but just using these animals to manage the land, it's pretty fascinating going back where they were and all this stuff. But thanks for watching. I'm sure we'll have another video soon.